Business basics. What is brand value when it comes to marketing? Hey, I'm Molly from the Visibility Hacking Movement, and today we are going to talk about the business basics. We are talking about brand value when it comes to the marketing space. What does that actually mean? Well, let's just get over with it. If you're just looking for the Coles notes, brand value in marketing is the monetary value of your brand. If you are to decide to go ahead and sell your brand, what is the actual dollar amount connected to your brand? That's what we're talking about today. First things first, if we want a higher value for our brand, we want to make sure that we have opportunities to monetize it. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about. Then I'm going to share with you a couple of hidden ways that you can use to increase your brand's value. And then shout it from the rooftops, your brand matters. For all this and more, stay tuned. First things first, you can actually license your brand name, your brand logo, any of that kind of stuff, and put it on other people's merchandise. Fantastic. Easy way to increase your monetization streams. And it's also really cool because A, it opens you up to new collaboration opportunities. B, opens you up to new markets. C, is a thing that you can do that helps generate money in your brand that actually isn't going to use a lot of work because you offload that work to other people. Licensing means you don't actually have anything to do with the product that's being created. They're just using your logo and your brand on their product. So you get kickbacks, you get money for that, you get passive income, as they say. Licensing is fabulous. It's a great thing that you can do. You can license your brand name, you can license your logo, you can license your product itself. So other people can include, say, if you're doing, say you're not into like clothing or physical products that you can stick your brand name on, but what you can do if you're in info products, for example, is you can license a training that you've done, and so other people can put it into their programs and you get a kickback for every student that enrolls in that new program. Fabulous idea. Licensing is great. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of really cool licensing collaborations in products in the mainstream. It's not just an entrepreneurial thing. It's not just a small business thing. This is business 101, right? So if you've seen some really cool collaborations, let me know down in the comments. I would love to see what you guys are looking at these days. If you want to make sure that your brand value continues to grow over time, because ultimately we want a high value brand, right? There's no point in building a low value brand. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of money, and isn't going to pay off as much as that same money and that same time would pay off if you actually paid attention to your brand. So the easiest way to do this is to make sure that you are maintaining your influence and maintaining your authority. How do we do this? Simple. We maintain our quality and we work to build up trust with our people. So quality first. The way that you deliver your products has to be quality. The kinds of posts that you're putting out there and the kinds of content you're sharing with your environment has to be quality. And on the other side, we also want to make sure that we're building trust. So are our messages on brand? Does it make sense to our people? Remember, your brand is pretty much a person. You're trying to position that person to be in the friend group of your potential customers. You want your brand to be the influential friend that whole group comes to and looks to for advice in your realm of expertise, right? So we have to build trust. So if your brand was a person sitting in front of their friend group at the lunch table, for example, and started talking about a totally off-topic article or social post. Does that make sense in that realm? If a whole bunch of people who come together because they really love pink miniature shoes. That's like they're really into pink miniature shoes. That is this sphere of influence. And you start bringing in articles about football that are not related because they're about big things that aren't pink and aren't shoes. So is that a relevant piece of content? No. It starts to become questionable. If you start posting things that are factually incorrect and totally break the trust of your people, or you post something that makes your people, that attacks your people, that's not good either. So make sure that you are focusing on maintaining the quality of your brand. And a lot of times this means you have to have a lot more contact with your people, a lot more contact with your brand. I've seen so many brand owners farm off a lot of their content production and their posting and that engagement on social media to content farms. And they get lots of likes, lots of views, lots of followers, but none of them are related to the stuff they're actually trying to sell in the end. They're not quality customers. They're not the customers who are actually looking to purchase your products. Think about it that way, my friends. And the easy way for you, my friends, to keep in touch with us, to connect with us, to keep this connection and relationship going is to hit that subscribe button. I remind you every week, but do it again. Make sure you're there. Why do I hate content farms? Well, we've talked about they connect to the wrong people, but also because they are disconnected in their message. Posting things that are viral for the sake of being viral just because you want the likes, you playing into the vanity metrics, isn't going to find conversions for your customers. It's not going to lead to more people purchasing your products because you're showing yourself and your products to the wrong people. On the other hand, when you really pay attention to your message, when you stand up for something as a brand, when you share that message, when you become a rallying cry for people like you, then everything's going to change for your brand. Because then you're actually starting to bring together the right types of people. When your social content starts to be in line as solutions for your ideal customer, when you speak to those problems your customers are sharing with you. We did a video recently where we talked about high ticket sales, and we talk about building that relationship and why it's so important. What types of questions do we specifically want to ask to gather specific information that helps us make those conversions for high ticket sales? And that's like, this technique is used to sell like $100,000 products to single, like it works. But it's because we've built that relationship. We know who our customer is. We know what they stand for. We stand for something that connects to their core values. We're creating content that is totally on message, but what we're doing is sharing us, who we are as the value of our brand, as like the deep-seated moral values is what I'm saying. Leaning into that will ultimately help increase the connections, deepen the connections you have with your people, therefore deepening or expanding their chances and the probability that they are going to purchase your products because you've tailored them specifically to those people. And then ultimately that means more income for your brand, higher value for your brand, higher chance of you getting, you being able to sell your brand at a much higher level. So if you're setting up a lifestyle brand, or you're starting to set up a t-shirt or a clothing or a style brand, whatever it is, thinking about all of these things from the get-go will help you establish the right brand for the right people that ultimately is going to grow in the right ways for you. Pretty fantastic. As you know, the way that I love to build that connection with my people is by creating regular content. We call them content machines or connection machines, I should say. And these connection machines can be like a podcast if you like to talk to people, or maybe you love to talk to a camera. So use YouTube as your connection machine. Or maybe you're like me and you go live all the time in the Visibility Hacking Facebook group. You can find it at visibilityhacking.com. Click the link at the top of the page, become an official visibility hacker, and you can check out all of the awesome shows that we are releasing. In January of this month, we are releasing a whole bunch of new shows. There's a whole shakeup happening in the community, so I want you to be there. I want you to check it out. We've got some awesome content there for you. So check it out, visibilityhacking.com. Become an official visibility hacker at the top of the page. I will see you in there. And in the meantime, check out one of these videos, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in our next video. Until then, remember, I love you. Be excellent to each other. Just go live.